In news that probably isn't too shocking, apparently Amazon has canceled their upcoming Tomb Raider live action series by writer Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Now, I'm saying this isn't surprising because we all heard, like within the last week or so, that after years of so-called development, they haven't really done anything with it. There's no script or anything like that. The only thing that we've really heard of significant note is that Sophie Turner of Game of Thrones was supposed to play Lara Croft in it. But other than that, nothing has materialized. And at this point, since there's really no one at the higher levels of Amazon Studios willing to go to bat for this, I could understand why they're pulling the plug on it. But this hasn't been made official as of yet. Amazon, as far as I know, hasn't commented one way or the other on this. But I think it is safe to assume at this time right now that the show is essentially dead. But let's look at this article from That Park Place. It has a little bit more of the background on what's been going on with the production of this. So the headline on it: Amazon Tomb Raider series reportedly dead after $100 million Phoebe Waller-Bridge deal produces nothing. And that's not saying that they paid her $100 million to do this. What the deal was is they struck a deal with her several years back. I believe it was basically Amazon paid her $20 million a year in return that they get first dibs on anything that she looks to produce. And if they don't want to pick it up or do anything with it, well, then that's fine. It never said that she was necessarily obligated to work for them, or at least as far as I know, that wasn't the case. She has done some stuff for them in the past, but other than that, I mean, it really nothing has materialized. So basically she was just collecting $20 million checks from Amazon and hasn't produced anything of significant as a result of all this. And I think that's why, or at least one reason why I think that they would just be willing to cut her loose at this time and be like, okay, you said you're going to produce a Tomb Raider series. We're willing to take a look at it. You haven't done anything as of yet. So no point in just kind of willing about like right now. Let's just either do something or be done with it. She hasn't produced anything. So Amazon, I can see them saying like, okay, we're just going to cut loose with this then, because evidently nothing's going to ever materialize, or at least nothing will materialize that we want to actually pick up. It appears to be game over for Phoebe Waller-Bridge's Amazon Tomb Raider series. The high-profile reboot, once touted as a flagship franchise for Prime Video, is now reportedly dead, and with it, another chapter closes in the long, expansive saga of Phoebe Waller-Bridge's $100 million no-content deal. Back in November, Game of Thrones and Dark Phoenix star Sophie Turner was reportedly in final negotiations to play Lara Croft. While not officially announced by Amazon, multiple outlets cited her as the frontrunner for the iconic role in the Tomb Raider series. But now, according to Mail Online via GameFragger, those plans have been scrapped. This show is dead, insiders say, due to Waller-Bridge's slow-moving script and Turner's other commitments. And what they're talking about with that is Sophie Turner has, supposedly this show was supposed to go into production later this year, but according to Sophie Turner's schedule for other upcoming projects that she has, she's basically booked up solid throughout the rest of the year. So unless they were going to push back productions, I think it's safe to say that either the show's not going to be getting made, or at least not made in the time frame that they previously said it's going to be made, or she's not going to be the actual Lara Croft for it. Either one could be a possibility, but like I said, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that this show pretty much is just dead in the water. The project, greenlit by ousted Amazon Studios head Jennifer Salke, was originally pitched as the epic globetrotting series and marked a major piece of Amazon's big budget IP strategy. That plan now lies in ruins. And I think that's also another key takeaway from all this. This was something that Jennifer Salke wanted to do, because they were trying to use Lara Croft as a springboard to push a more feminist message. That's something that she's been trying to do with a lot of other movies and programs that Amazon Studios have greenlit. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I mean, that's kind of something that she's infamous for at this time. She did have some success in the past with Fleabag, but after that, the stuff that she's worked on that has been overtly trying to push that message has just been failing, whether it's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny or the final James Bond movie. For the most part, no one's really excited about anything that Phoebe Waller-Bridge touched. And when this deal was first struck with her between Jennifer Salke and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, that was after she was coming off the success of Fleabag. And since that's long behind her, Amazon got tired of Jennifer Salke greenlighting a bunch of stuff that were just colossal failures for them. Rings of Power is a big example of that. So they got rid of her, and then they started looking at, they're like, okay, what is all the stuff that she's actually been responsible for? And then they come across this in their books, probably thinking like, wait, we're paying Phoebe Waller-Bridge $20 million a year and she hasn't produced anything. Now, I'm sure this isn't any news to the people, the executives over there, but once they got rid of Jennifer Salke, so suddenly there's no one there protecting Phoebe Waller-Bridge and her contract with Amazon. So it makes sense that they were like, okay, well, let's just cut her loose as well, because no one here is very excited about doing this. And if Jennifer Salke approved it, then that's not a guarantee that it's going to be successful. In fact, it's usually an indicator that it's probably not going to be good, because the best performing shows and movies from Amazon were stuff that Jennifer Salke didn't have a personal interest in. But since this was one of those shows that she actually does have more of an vested interest in, usually those have been the ones that have been financial failures for Amazon Studios, which is why I think they're willing to cut this loose. Waller-Bridge, best known for Fleabag and ruining Indiana Jones. And that's, you could say that's being hyperbolic or being like editorial to say she ruined Indiana Jones. But if you look at the box office performance of it, and what people were saying about why they didn't like Indiana Jones, I think it is safe to say that, yeah, she is a large contributor as to what went wrong with that movie. Signed a $20 million per year overall deal with Amazon in 2019. A contract that cost the studio reported $100 million in total and yielded exactly 0 shows or films. When that deal expired in 2022, Salke renewed it, and just before her own departure in 2025, she converted it to a non-exclusive first look agreement for significantly less money. Okay, so I was a little wrong with my initial details. I said the whole thing was just a first look deal. It's like, no, she did have a deal, $20 million deal to produce stuff that never actually produced anything. But since Jennifer Salke was her buddy, Phoebe Waller-Bridge got a renewed contract, but a little bit more less so than what it previously was, in order to, I guess, hide it from some of the executives, because they're like, wait, we paid her $20 million a year to produce stuff. She didn't do anything. So why are we going to continue to renew that contract? So that's why they probably edited the contract or made a different agreement in order to somewhat make hope mean that would slip under the radar. But as I said before, Phoebe Waller-Bridge doesn't have someone out there at the top level of Amazon Studios basically defending her. So that makes sense why she's out from there too. Still, that's 6 years, over $100 million and nothing produced. The Amazon Tomb Raider reboot was supposed to be Waller-Bridge's breakout streamer blockbuster, but like so many of the streamer's expensive experiments, Citadel, The Rings of Power, it fizzled before it even began. Waller-Bridge once said, "Tomb Raider has been a huge part of my life. I feel incredibly privileged to be bringing it to television. I can't wait to go on this adventure, bats and all. Instead, the bats are staying in a cave and the series is never happening." Now, as I said at the start of this video, Amazon hasn't confirmed one way or the other, but since we haven't heard anything other than the fact that they announced it, I think it is safe to say that it's pretty much dead at this time. And frankly, I'm not surprised about all this news because this is something that no one was really expecting to materialize. And if it did, everyone was expecting it to be a huge failure because, like I said, everything Phoebe Waller-Bridge has touched has been a failure. But not only that, pretty much anytime they've been trying to adapt Lara Croft outside of the Angelina Jolie movies, it's all been a failure, especially in more recent years where a lot of people were taking a hold of the Tomb Raider IP and just thinking about it's just a springboard to push a more feminist message. And that was something that the character Lara Croft was never supposed to represent, or at least not represented in the way that a lot of people nowadays are trying to push. That's why audiences and fans of Tomb Raider have not really taken to many modern day interpretations of the character. The Netflix series is a prime example of that, where it was something that most people who are fans of Tomb Raider did not like what they were doing. And as a result, the show didn't do that well. But this news about it finally getting canceled, if that is indeed the case, I think that is ultimately a good, because I would rather, if it was to be made, it would be made by people who respect the source material and not respect like what's the modern day interpretation of Lara Croft, but where it actually came from. And I don't expect that to happen anytime soon. So I think this is probably for the better, just to pull the plug, because if you even think about it, even if Phoebe Waller-Bridge wanted to tell the story right, if she couldn't come up with anything in 5 or so years that she's been on contract with Amazon for a story, well, then I think it's pretty safe to say that she didn't have any good ideas of what they could actually do with the story. So regardless of whether or not she was going to do it justice, I think it is best that it gets canceled at this time, if in fact that is the case. But we won't know because unless Amazon actually makes an official announcement, but I doubt they're actually going to do that. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think they're going to pull the plug on it? Do you think Amazon's going to make an announcement, or do you think it's just going to kind of fizzle away and be done with it? Because that's kind of where I'm leaning, but I'm curious what other people have to say about it. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click that like button and share this video out there because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.